Picking up where I left off in the Data and Asset Management demo, a series of updates to the Workgroup Geodatabase were made in the Public Works Department. If you remember the architectural diagram, Public Works manages departmental data locally, but also consumes and provides updates to an enterprise data warehouse. Using two-way geodatabase replication, changes between the Workgroup Geodatabase and the Enterprise Geodatabase can be transferred or synchronized in both directions. I will manually step through the process of synchronizing the edits using the Synchronized Replica wizard. Selecting the replicas, then selecting the directions, I will step through the process and finish the edits. The transfer of the changes is being made between the local Public Works Geodatabase and the Enterprise Geodatabase. Using geodatabase replication, the multi-user Workgroup Geodatabase in Public Works is just one of the nodes in a network of replicated geodatabases. Another node is in the Planning Department. If you remember from the earlier demo, the Planning Department has an ArcEditor license and has implemented the ArcSDE technology on their desktop with SQL Server Express. The Planning Department consumes layers from the Enterprise data warehouse, such as the street center lines and buildings that you just saw me synchronize the changes to from the Public Works Department. The GIS analyst in the Planning Department can simply refresh the version of the database that he's viewing, and those changes will be viewed and seen directly inside the current ArcMap session. Like Public Works, the Planning Department also uses two-way geodatabase replication. Changes between the Planning Geodatabase and the Enterprise Data Warehouse can also be transferred or synchronized in both directions. In addition to the Synchronized Changes command on the toolbar, there is a Synchronized Changes geoprocessing tool, which can be added to a model or called from a Python script to automate this process. I can execute a model, including the synchronized changes, and in our case, the planning changes have been synchronized to the data warehouse in the enterprise system. At this point, the enterprise data warehouse has now been synchronized with the updates from both the Planning and Public Works geodatabases. With ArcGIS 9.3, the replication model has been extended to include one-way replication to a file geodatabase. The Planning Department has code inspectors that use ArcReader on tablet PCs, and a file geodatabase is used as the data source. So stepping through the Synchronized Changes wizard a second time, we can now see that we have a one-way file geodatabase replica in which we can sync the changes in that one direction. So now the changes are being synchronized from the local database into the planning's one-way file geodatabase. Now that the changes have been synchronized, let's put them to use in ArcReader. Code inspectors would use the tablet PC out in the field. We'd also like to show you several enhancements to ArcReader that were made for ArcGIS 9.3. If I zoom in on the map, we should notice that the zoning has now been made the change that was posted to it through the one-way file geodatabase replication. A frequently requested enhancement to 9.3 is that I can now add my own locator into ArcReader and geocode addresses with the same user experience that I have in ArcMap. This, of course, can help the code inspectors navigate the map while they're in the field. So they can highlight the candidate at a location, they can pan, they can zoom to that location, all the great things that they could use before. They can also add a labeled call out to that address. Another key enhancement is the markup capabilities. The markups can be made in ArcReader saved to a file and sent back to the GIS analyst to review in ArcGIS Desktop. I can add markups to the map, and I can also make notes about those. So I've made a note about a car is on blocks at this address. The markups made in ArcReader can be saved to a file and then imported, or they could also be copied over the network to a location, or they could be emailed directly to the GIS analyst and then imported directly into ArcMap using the Publisher toolbar. So we'll export these to a file, and then we'll go over into ArcMap as the GIS analyst, and the GIS analyst can turn on the Publisher toolbar, and then they can import the markups, and then using the navigation tools can navigate directly to those markups that were made by the analyst or the code inspector out in the field. In ArcMap, the markups are imported as named graphics, and I can start an edit session and update geodatabase layers based upon the information provided in the markups by the code inspectors with ArcReader. To summarize, what I've shown in this section is how geodatabase replication can be implemented to allow individual departments, such as a planning or public works department, to manage and maintain their unique departmental data locally while participating in a network of geodatabases. Only the changes between the geodatabases are transferred, and I also showed you how one-way geodatabase replication could be extended to tablet PCs running ArcReader and taken to the field.